Before we begin, please be advised that this episode contains adult language and descriptions of violence, graphic content that some listeners may find disturbing. It is intended for a mature audience only, and listener discretion is advised. The Culture Canon, entry number 4. The overcriminalization of Black women in sex work as depicted in the television show P-Valley. Originally published November 12, 2025. After rewatching P-Valley in anticipation of season 3, I wanted to discuss how this artwork has shown a very bright light on the overcriminalization of Black women in sex work within the 21st century, which is supposedly the most racially just and sexually liberated time in American culture. While overcriminalization is not listed in any dictionary, here's a definition I will use based on the meanings of the words overdo and criminalize. Overcriminalization, exaggerated actions to treat someone as criminal. Sex work is the practice or occupation of engaging in sexual acts, appearing in pornography, or taking part in similar activities for payment. Art is defined as the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. By examining art from the perspective of and about different communities, you can gain insight into the people, beliefs, and practices of their respective cultures. An analysis of the television show P-Valley supports that Black women in sex work are excessively treated as criminals and end up in increasingly criminal situations that can arise from several circumstances, including duress and exploitation. This show uses storytelling to convey the ideas and the beliefs about and from the perspective of Black women in sex work, specifically within poor communities of the Mississippi Delta. P-Valley also did an amazing job at humanizing these characters and providing us to question how we treat Black women in sex work and Black women with sexualized images. This essay is to support a larger conversation I'm interested in by studying Black art and culture, especially within the last 25 years, to gain a clear understanding of the beliefs about Black women in sex work in America during what is generally assumed to be the most equitable time in American history for race and sexuality. Welcome to PUSSYVALLEY. P-Valley is set in a fictional strip club called The Pink, located in a town called Chucalissa, Mississippi, described as the poorest city within the poorest state of America. The Pink is the only recreational venue mentioned in the series, and it is beloved as a space to escape one's darkest troubles and be immersed in one's deepest fantasies. One of the main characters I will discuss is Mercedes, the most experienced dancer and headliner, who is struggling with aging out of the industry and wants to secure a better future for herself and her daughter Terica. The other is Keyshawn, who goes by the stage name Miss Mississippi. She is described as the pretty, uppity one and the up-and-coming headliner. She is struggling with her own insecurities when Mercedes announces her departure from the Pink and takes bold actions to create a name for herself and secure her future beyond the Pink. Lastly, the duo Roulette and Whisper are newcomers in season 2 and find themselves in a greater criminal situation than they anticipated due to a deal gone bad. The series has been praised for its honest stories and evoking strong emotional reactions to the characters. Some of its victories include winning Outstanding Drama Series at the NAACP Image Awards. In 2023, the show dominated the TV categories at the African American Film Critics Association Awards for Best TV Drama, Best Ensemble, and Best TV Acting Male, shared by J. Alphonse Nicholson and Nico Annan. The show humanized these characters, fostering empathy for the people society typically dismisses as criminal by depicting this reality. Mercedes, Season 1, Episode 2, Scars. The headlining stripper at the Pink, Mercedes, also coaches a dance troupe called the Chucalissa Challengers. Through this work, she instills discipline and teamwork in the young girls, including her daughter, Terica. In one episode, she finds out her daughter and the other dancers publish a video of themselves on social media, twerking and dancing erotically. Mercedes was upset because she didn't want the young girls to be judged or become victims of sexual violence. She reprimands Terica and the other dancers for their behavior. Her daughter throws her experience as a stripper back in her face. Mercedes insists that she is doing this to protect Terica so she wouldn't have to be in the same line of work. Mercedes' goal in season 1 is to accumulate enough money from dancing at the Pink to transition into coaching full time by opening her own dance studio. Tragically, this ambitious plan collapsed when her mother, Patrice Woodbine, appropriated the funds to start her own church. Keyshawn, Season 2, Episode 5, White Nights. Keyshawn teamed up with rapper Lil Murder to stage a PR relationship that stemmed from a performance at the Pink, where Miss Mississippi acted as his muse and dancer. The duo became a hit on social media, which led to business opportunities, mainly for Keyshawn, who garnered a large female following. Keyshawn ventured into a management deal with a new character named Rome. Her, Rome, Lil Murder, his manager Wody, and friends embarked on a 12-city tour where they both performed. While Keyshawn was getting changed in her manager Rome's hotel suite, he attempted to rape her. She demanded he stop his advances multiple times and even struck him to get him to stop. She explains to him the power dynamics in her performance, but he still thinks he is in control and entitled to sexual acts from her whenever he desires, even though they are business partners. While rape is criminal, regardless of circumstances, he expressed that he had no motive to stop his behavior because, in his words, she was a hoe, insinuating she deserved to be raped. Keyshawn eventually escaped from his assault. When Keyshawn explains what happened to Wody, their friend and Little Murder's manager, she says, he tried to fuck me, instead of calling it what it was, sexual assault. Society is indoctrinated to believe that performing any act of sex work means that consent is not needed for sexual activity, while many sex workers are indoctrinated to believe that consent is not needed in their line of work. Each sexual act requires a new negotiation, which requires consent. Consent is the clear, voluntary, and enthusiastic agreement to engage in a specific activity, particularly sexual activity, that can be withdrawn at any time. It must be freely given without any pressure, coercion, or intimidation, and cannot be assumed from silence, past behavior, or relationship status. Without consent, there is no deal and no further sexual activity. As the series explores Keyshawn's backstory, the audience is made aware that Derek, her husband, has been physically abusing Keyshawn for years. After a doctor's visit, Keyshawn learns that her son has a dislocated shoulder and assumes that this was not because of an accident, but physical abuse at the hands of Derek. Keyshawn accuses Derek of dislocating their 3-year-old son's shoulder, and he says he was simply disciplining him. Keyshawn accuses him of child abuse, acknowledging that Derek's father abused him as a child as well. In this confrontation, Derek strikes Keyshawn in the face and drags her across the floor and holds a hot iron near her face, threatening to burn her while strangling her. He then asserts, "I will discipline him however I want to," then confirms that he was her abuser and now their child's abuser as well. Excuse me. This confirms that he was her abuser and now her child abuser as well. Many domestic violence victims avoid seeking help out of fear of retaliation. Keyshawn's income as a stripper and entertainer has been providing for their family throughout the pandemic. She is now a rising star and faces pressure to make a name for herself and secure her family's future. With Derek's escalating abuse, she faces the difficult decision of leaving her boys at home with Derek so she can tour or leaving him. Keyshawn eventually decides to run away with their children. Season 2, Episode 10, Mississippi Rule. On the day that Keyshawn planned to run away with her kids, Child Protective Services started an investigation into her because of her son's dislocated shoulder. She gets angry and attacks Derek, demanding him to tell the fucking truth, "You son of a bitch." Even though Derek's abused Keyshawn multiple times, which is criminal, who did the police and Child Protective Services believe? The white, blue-collar worker or the black stripper? They believed Derek, and Keyshawn was arrested. Roulette and Whisper, Season 2, Episode 8, The Death Drop. Roulette and Whisper engaged in a sex work deal where the customer performed oral sex on Whisper for an agreed upon amount of money. The customer, Terrence, did not want to pay the agreed upon amount after the sexual act was completed because he felt she didn't make the right sounds. After being confronted verbally by Whisper, he physically assaulted her. Roulette entered the room and pulled a gun on him. She then performed an act of sexual humiliation and left, stealing his belongings to punish him for not paying the fare and assaulting Whisper. Like in many other states, in Mississippi, it is a crime to engage in prostitution, having sex for money, solicitation, paying for sex, or pimping, procuring a prostitute. However, non-payment and assault have criminal ramifications as well. If the consensual agreement wasn't criminal, Whisper and Roulette could have taken other actions to resolve the financial dispute that resulted from the customer's non-payment and act of assault. Since the act of prostitution is criminal, they were forced to take more criminal actions to punish him for the non-payment and the assault, as well as intimidate him enough to prevent further retaliation. In conclusion, the television show P-Valley supports that Black women in sex work are excessively treated as criminals and end up in increasingly criminal situations that can arise from several circumstances, including duress and exploitation. Ta-ta for now. The CYACA Audio Experience is an audio recording of essays and other experiences created by Cheyenne Yvette. I'm Cheyenne Yvette, visual artist and art director of the Cheyenne Yvette Art and Culture Archive, a creative studio and digital archive. My mission is to educate and express diverse Black American perspectives through art and experiences. Please support by shopping from my gift shop, magnetismcorner.com. Tastefully curated gifts for art collectors, including limited edition prints and apparel. Or make a paid subscription to my Substack, thecyaca.substack.com, and read Office Hours with Cheyenne Yvette, where I discuss creating with layered storytelling through flat design. For more information about the Cheyenne Yvette Art and Culture Archive, please visit thecyaca.com. You can listen to the CYACA Audio Experience on Tuesdays wherever you listen to podcasts.